I should really stop muting my mic before I do things. Hi! How's it going? Is the volume okay? Please tell me the volume's okay. I did a vocal warm-up this time, like a very small vocal warm-up. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move my mic again. Okay, I'm trying to find like good positions. I'm being very picky about the noise on my mic. How's everyone doing? How's a good night? You're a little too loud. Why aren't you? Why are you quiet? Oh my goodness. Man, so many fun things today. Like maybe 15%. Is this better? Or how about this? I had it peaking like a tiny bit in the red before. It's a little bit more in the yellow. So hopefully this is a little better. But now you're a little bit too quiet. There's no hope for me. Okay, I think this is okay. This is like just peeking into the red. But man, lots of good things. Let's see. We got the finale episode of... Is this good? Yay. Thank you. We got the finale episode of Uma Musume Cinderella Grey, Season 1. And now I'll have to wait like a year or two to get more of it. I got water. We also got another... We got another movie trailer for Walpurgis Knock. Also, they may be sponsoring a horse race, which is going to be very, very weird. They just made Cube turn into a horse. I'm like, how do you do that? Today's my anniversary. We spent the entirety playing 100 Line. Perfect anniversary. Happy anniversary, dude. Let's see. Yeah, we got another Walpurgis Knock Rising. And then yesterday, I think, was that yesterday? Yeah. No. Yeah, it was yesterday. Madoka Magica sponsored boat race. Sure, why not? But yeah, things have been very good in my sphere. I also got an earlier shift today. Got to come in early, and then I got to get out early. Cube Uma Cube? Then I found out there's multiple racing horses with Madoka Magica names, which like makes it even weirder. Well, actually, I had my best run ever so far. Ooh, didn't you say it was like 13,000 something before? I'm gonna be honest, I procrastinated and I haven't really beaten my Marzensky run since I talked about it the other day. 13,540. Dang, dude. Is that S rank or is that still A+? Toasted banana bread, #1. What's up? Oh, but dude, like 200 points is a lot, honestly. Especially with that kind of game. You have to hit 14k to hit S rank. Okay, so it's still, okay. Also, I'm just remembering, speaking of my Madoka Magica stuff, I gotta go to the web shop. I gotta redeem a free 5-star. They not only released Sayaka and Kyoko Christmas outfits, they released them for like 2 Magia Record original characters. So yeah, cool. And now they're giving us a free 5-star. And I need to figure out like which one I want. I'm free to play, so this truly is my own power. Yeah, I'm pretty much free to play too. I think I got like a couple. I got like a couple paid polls. Oh yeah, I need to get my freebie, my regular freebie every month too. My monthly freebie. I was like, oh, this is pitiful. a prism orb, 2 magical cubes, and 2 orb medals. Fantastic. Ma, there's a mime on my phone. Scrub it off. Dude, Void, did you get the frickin' Madoka Magica horse race, possibly? Like, why? Turned Kyubey into a horse. Horse named Walpurgis no Yoru. Horse named Tiro Finale, which Tiro Finale is actually a really good name for a horse. Free to play always feels like a Sisyphus task day in, day out. Nah, for real. I'm getting at that point where I'm falling like out of my own Magia, etc. Gacha game, and now I'm just like, man, I'll log in and get my dailies. It's like a chore. Did you what? The video of the horse face slowly turning into Kyubey. Here, what if I do web shop exclusive? Does it show the... Oh yeah, they also did the final episode celebration. They turned that ferret rat into a horse. It was the Netcable logo, and then it like slowly morphed into Kyubey. We might actually be getting like a Madoka Magica stakes, which would be really funny. Oh, they didn't release the 5 stars yet. Okay, tomorrow. I used to play Beyblade model gacha game. There was a Beyblade gacha game? That's crazy. Honestly, Beyblade was pretty goated. I should have gotten... I feel like I had to talk about this a long time ago. I should have gotten into either Beyblade or Bakugan or both. Yeah, I think I talked about Bakugan like a long time ago because there was like... kind of stinks. It seemed a little stinky nowadays. It's just like it lost its aura. But yeah, right now it's for me is just Magia, etc. and Uma Musume. And right now I'm just in my own little etc. world. I'm just waiting for Devil Homura because I know that they're gonna do a limited release for Devil Homura, and I'm just like waiting for it. I'm like saving up my gems at this point because even then, like all the new releases anyways, you have to wait 2 months for them to come on there anyway. So now I'm just like, I don't know, I'm happy with my team. I'm strolling through. I'm just gonna wait for Rebellion. Like, come on, man. Like, this is a no-brainer. I don't really care about anyone else except Mabayu. Scare me. Okay. Yo, what's up, Husky? How's it going? It meowed again. Wow. Oh god. No. Call animal control. Ume made it to the Big League Game Awards. Where's Silk Song? Oh, wait. The Big League Game... Ume? Hold on. I might be losing it. I'm getting a food app for people who aren't afraid of cooking. Maimu and their horse girl autism. I've been in it for like the past 6 or 7 months. Haha, 6, 7. Oh, dude. Actually, one more topic before I get into things. How do you guys feel about the Steam Award nominees? Which, it worked out really good. Because as it turns out, that game I was playing off stream for like the past month, where Wins Meet, it got an award. And it was for best games that you suck at. Send her with a kid. No. I'm very glad that Game of the Year award. I'm glad that Silk Song's in there. Of course, Clear Expedition 33 is in there. Of course it is. Did you know Expedition 33 got disqualified from the Indie Games Awards for using AI? I saw stuff about that. I think... I thought there was... Yeah, Indie Game Awards clear... I thought they said something about them... In contact with Valpire, indicated it used a limited number of pre-existing assets, notably 3D assets sourced from the Unreal Engine marketplace. None of these assets were created using artificial intelligence for the core essence. No generative AI created assets in the game. When the first AI tools became available in 2022, some members of the team briefly experimented with them to generate temporary placeholder textures. Upon release, instances of a placeholder texture were removed within 5 days to be replaced with the correct textures. It had always been intended for release, but we missed during the quality assurance process. So okay, so I don't know too much to make a huge comment on it, but like, yeah, part of me's very happy. Oh, okay, look, here's the thing. I don't like AI. Like, don't use AI in your art if you are making a piece of art. But it also seems like whatever pieces of AI they experimented with were removed. So it's like, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel there. I'm just reading somebody else's comment. So, or whatever, said months ago they used AI assets as placeholders, which were later replaced with original artwork. But Sandfall told IGA they used no Gen AI at all, which is the reason for this outrage. Wait, did they lie about it then? E33 is released in April and gets immediately caught using AI placeholders. They patch it out and apologize. Everyone loves E33. E33 gets 12 nominations at TGA several months later. They won 9 of 12 of those awards. People spent the following week frothing at the mouth, making every excuse possible to discredit E33 as an indie game, and boy, I've seen some real rules for thee, but not for me bullshit. 6-1 nominates E33 with their AI usage already being public. Okay. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know, that's just a weird situation. Want to know a funny number than 6-7? Take 82 and turn it on its side. Look like a doofus. Nice model, thank you. I'm gonna vent a little and show my goat 100 line for not having a whiff of AI in that 100 million word count. Thank you. We love that. We love not using AI. What a nice looking title screen. Very cozy early 2000s. Speaking of, now we can. I'm gonna vent sauce. Dude, I'm still making Among Us jokes. I don't know. But, this is a game that we can't use AI with because it's early 2000s and everything was made. See, this is proof right here that you don't need to have fantastic skills. Well, I don't mean that disrespectfully. You don't have to have like mega beautiful, fantastic art to do what you love. You gotta get yourself out there. Basically, the logic of like, make it good. No, you don't have to make it good, you just have to make it. Just get it out there. But, granted, last time we played, let's see, we talked to the police officer about everything Potato Ass Chibi designs, and I love them. That's why I did the 07th expansion. We talked to a police officer. We got sent over some emojis from some friends who really did not like that we went out to lunch with somebody else. And then we stupidly ate a sewing needle because we were just in really big denial that it was a sewing needle in one of the mochis. Just huge denial. And then we splattered it on the wall, which probably would have really confused our parents. But 9 chapters. I need you guys to know 9 chapters, and I have not made a single route changing choice yet. I know a lot of it's like background and stuff. But the moment we make an actual choice, it is going to hit hard. But it looks like we will be going to school tomorrow. Keiichi, you had lunch with an old guy who you don't know, and you say he's a cop? I think you need the word stranger danger. Okay. Alright. I think of this. I'm a little scared. I don't know the Beyblade Burst Rivals meta from 2017. I've seen one guy occasionally on my timeline that's a VTuber who does Beyblade stuff. I need to, like, look into it. I need to look into Beyblade stuff. Okay. I'm scared. Alright, I got a blanket on me. Let's read. Let's read, boys. We're gonna read a novel together. This is our book club. Book club time. Sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. All the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door. It was as if... Oh, sorry. It was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came to my room right now, then... That's exactly how I feel, man. All roads lead to Rome. I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. My gosh, dude. Thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. Yo, what's up? How's it going? You having a good evening so far? I feel like I always ask that. So, you better be. It felt nothing like morning, yeah. Yesterday. I must have fallen asleep right after that. No. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance fell off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Buddy, I think we're gonna have to be. I think we're gonna have to. I felt far from well enough. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what had happened? Death? Or what if it had pierced my tongue? Not death, but mild inconvenience. There was undoubtedly a murderous intent. But... oh. I don't know what I did. Okay, sure. Undoubtedly murderous intent. I don't think that's all. I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Mild inconvenience, she says, while it would be agonizing pain of a needle in your... Okay, but like, if you plug it out, all it's gonna do is just bleed a lot and then be sore. Why am I defending, like, putting a needle through a tongue? Why? No. Meaning. I didn't want to believe it, but... getting that far was just a threat from Rena and Neon. Are you glad you didn't die? The next time we'll use a more assured method. Like that. Assuming you get stuck in a range you can pull... Okay, yeah, true. True. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Why do you kind of take medicine? Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It's definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill.
一度生活のリズムを崩すとなかなか戻らないんだから。さあ、起きて起きて。病は気からって言うのよ。
Yeah. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance. But it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Okay, yeah. Perfect attendance is bullshit, by the way. Dude, they're gonna, like, not give you an award because, I don't know, sick? Were you sicky poo?
ささ、顔洗ってらっしゃい。ご飯はもうできてるわよ。もうレナちゃんが来るまであんまり時間がないわよ。
Oh yeah, she's gonna get us. Mom's told me I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. Yeah, you're kinda stuck, buddy.
そうそう。今の壁にボタン餅を投げつけたのはケイチ?
Oh, you see the bean paste, but you don't see anything else.
ダメよ、あんなことしちゃ。
Yeah, no shit.
お父さん、怒ってたわよ。
I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. For some reason. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. Leon said as she left yesterday. I hate it if you miss school tomorrow. The kid caught a cold and have to stay home instead of spreading it to the other kids. Point and laugh. The idea for even miss school tomorrow came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I think she meant that if you didn't come to school, she would break your kneecaps, possibly literally. I didn't even have to really think about it. Me neither, buddy. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking that a bit further. It's the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. If I acted differently, one like Oshi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something's up. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth, did anything differently from the norm, effect, it would end up communicating something to those who were undesirable. It seems as something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So, if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal.
そんな虫のいい話あるわけ?
Swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that if I had just rejected, Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. Dude, listen to the voices. She was giving me, who'd mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? Wow, my streaming partner Luna has come up here. Hello, hello! Snugglebuggy. Snugglebug. But Mion had given me another chance. Just saying. Just forgot everything and kept living on like I had been. I'd be forgiven.
Keiichi! ご飯冷めちゃうわよ。急いで降りてらっしゃい。早くしないとレナちゃんが来ちゃうわよ。
あ、今行くよ。
I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. You think you'd be a little bit more grateful after, you know, needles. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena, given yesterday's events. He'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that happened the past 2 days. Get it all. Return to my normal life. This to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. Ding dong! I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. The chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Yay! Mom hurried me
ほ
along.
らレナちゃん来ちゃったわよ。急いで急いで。
My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Ah. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side. Was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. Need to do things as usual. Look at that! Everyone put on your copium! An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway.
ケイチ君、遅かったから来てみたけど、今日はどうかな？
Okay, well, considering everything going on, I think now it all just feels like a very thinly veiled threat. Oh, sorry, wrong button. The manner in which Rena was concerned was, without a doubt, the Rena I knew. That was probably only if I reciprocated. Get everything from yesterday. Pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismember. Oh, you really didn't have to go that far. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Yeah. Forget about the people falling to their death. And the terminal illness and the suicide. The fatal beatings and the disappearances. Jeez. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Mion was scary. Worse. Forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi, too. Forget. Once again asked to make sure.
学校行けそう？
あ、大丈夫だよ。
よかった。じゃあ行こう。みーちゃん待ってるよ。
Rena showed me her usual bright smile. Yay! I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. Anytime the music stops now, I'm just gonna be scared.
絶対にできるって意地になっちゃって。
As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff. More so than usual.
それで？
Oh, sorry.
さとこちゃん不吉祥だから何度やってもできないの。はかいかったんだよ。
I think there's just also the looming fact that everybody has the most fucked up backstories possible. Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense. I would just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. Passed by one of our neighbors and they called out to us.
あれ？ケイチちゃんにレナちゃん。今日はちょっと遅いんじゃないの？ミオンちゃん、先に行くって言ってたわよ。
みーちゃん怒ってるかな？怒ってるかな？早く行こう、ケイチ君。
After greeting our neighbor with a smile, Rena turned back and poked her tongue out. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile.
ケイチ君笑った？
なんだよ。
Rena stopped and stared at me.
ケイチ君、今朝もなんか元気なかったから、まだ風邪が治らないのかなって思ってたけど、大丈夫みたいだね。だね。
Yeah. With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maibara. How could you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Guys, how can you doubt her? How can you doubt her? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today and imagined everything I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. Oh my goodness, no. Is that my cord? Aw, really? Nah. I really hoped that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, only one thing that I'd wish for. I would want what had happened in the past few days. More specifically, from the night of the WATAN on my gashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. Wonder how many times I'd wished for these past few days. Has it only been like 3 days? I think it's been like 2 or 3. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, it might just become reality. So, I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling.
で、ケイチくん。昨日のおはぎ、ちゃんと食べてくれた？
Hey! That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. How are we supposed to ignore the mochi? His smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. God, I love the tension in this game. Mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Anna was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that.
ケイチくん？
I was reluctant to give an answer. Anna stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maibara. Anna was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and my mouth had gone dry. My lips were stuck together. Pray an answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly.
おー？
And I playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. And his reaction was still normal. It seemed that there wasn't that long of a pause as I had thought. Somehow, I finally squeaked out the rest.
うまかった。
However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well.
そうなんだ。で、全部食べたのかな？かな？
Oh yeah, we're really pushing, okay. My timid smile froze. Okay, we're oh, don't panic. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Okay, yeah. Was that what she was asking? If I'd swallowed it, then I wouldn't be
いや
here.
全部は食べきれなかったからさ。まだ残ってるんだよ。
I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it.
あれれ？どれがレナが作ったのか当てる宿題はどうなっちゃったのかな？
Oh, yeah.
あの宿題って今日までだったっけ？
I'm
今
uncomfortable.
日までなんだよ。みーちゃん怒るよ。きっと罰ゲームだね。
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think this game also does a good job of, like, kind of putting you in the shoes of the character in the sense that now, in the place where I am in this game, every single thing that happens has me worried out of my mind when I am around these people. I am so scared. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. I could just let myself believe. And even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of that giggling Rena. Oh my god. I'm scared again. Hashtag scared. I'm so fucking scared. I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena. No, I was wrong. It was still Rena. Oshi-san told me, didn't he? And I was gonna say, I thought about that. Like, she broke a bunch of windows. That's what I'm saying. Rena had a disorder, but normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine. She looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all the windows, all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school, breaking the windows with a bat. And a Barbera-looking ass, swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk, wind up. Wind up. I'm sorry, it's just the same sound effect repeating. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. The naive way of thinking no longer worked. Unpleasant, piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise as Rena's treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. And his classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe, staring at me with them big old eyes. I wondered what they did as Rena came closer, making windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room to call for the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight, Rena busting window after window. Undoubtedly, all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. No, they weren't simply looking the other way. They knew it was the only way they could protect themselves. Oh, quaint and queer. Oh, very much. A little scared right now, but they had done something differently from the rest. They may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. Would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning they would. I would be the next window. Rena staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she grew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Rena struck me with a bat, over and over again, like I was one of those windows. Crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. I didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealous me. Zealous me? Yes, please, zealous me, dear viewers. She hit me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this? Over and over again. Peered up to see. Expression was so indifferent. It's completely unnerving. Because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously. Over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye, unless we're hanging out. Of course. Everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. Ain't nothing but saving cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there'd be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut. Ugh! And some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in the anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I called what Oshi-san told me. Okay. Pause. I don't know if he'll bring it up. He said before that, like... Yeah, Rena was born and raised a little bit in Hinamigawa, or whatever it was. Yeah. I'm losing it. Hinamigawa. And she, like, moved somewhere else, and she still was having those, like, episodes where she was apparently breaking windows and stuff. Like fun people do. I wonder why. I wonder why that's still, like, I guess affected her? Assuming that it is some kind of weird supernatural force? Following that, I was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. Was it real? Was it fake? I have no clue. That was only a piece of the conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture, but it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then what Rena did. She's saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? I will never be able to speak even moderate Japanese, it's so difficult. Look, here's my thing. I watched a shit ton of anime, and I took one singular semester of Japanese in college, and now I can at least sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I didn't see the message above. I think it got blocked by YouTube automatically. His bosom is massive. Yeah, man's got... Dude, yeah, he's, you know, regular old guy has got a... He's got man boobs and a beer belly. Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. YouTube hates the peak male form. So true! But yeah, if something happens and I don't see, I have one monitor, and my overlay is kind of being covered by this game. So if I don't see it, kill me. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Rena? Everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro... I can't... I felt a strange sense of relief from that. That's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that. Because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Using to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice? Accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Rena and the rest of them deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths. I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that, but that was no longer possible. I'd received their message. It was pathetic of me to try to bend the meaning of my own convenience. Regardless of whether my opponents were a human or a curse, I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in. No good reason at all.
ケイチ君、さっきから変な顔してる。なんでだろう。
Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I had realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exercised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Rena could have done such terrible things. I was trying to placate myself. Hey. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. Yay! We're normal again! Perfect! Chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony.
鶴休みのケイチさんにはお似合いですことよ。ケイチもレナもおはようございますです。おはよう、さとこちゃんにリカちゃん。
Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently.
何なんですの？張り合いがありませんわ。ケイチ、まだ本調子じゃないみたいです。だから今日は加減してあげてね。
Take it easy. Suddenly, there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit.
よ、ケイちゃん、しっかり休んできた？
You freaking... It was Mion! My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember Keiichi? That hawkish gaze from yesterday. It was like a hawk too,
ああ、おはよ
なんだなんだ。ずいぶんと覇気のない挨拶じゃん。差し入れのおはぎ、ちゃんと食べてくれなかったの？
Oh, for the love of God. I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted
う。やっ
out.
ぱ食欲がなくてさ。いくつかは食べたけど、だいぶ残しちゃったんだ。
あれ、じゃあ宿題は？どれがレナの手作りかってのの回答は？ケイチくん宿題忘れなんだって。
Womp womp.
ありゃー。じゃあ仕方ないね。罰ゲーム。
I'm a little scared. Oh, you... I love it. We're just like, oh, okay, I guess too bad. Batsu game. Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from her exchanges that would cause her classmates to suspect anything was amiss. I feel like the classmates wouldn't care. But of course, anyone listening to her conversations up until this morning didn't see anything suspicious. That was why. So frightening. Acted in a way that regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maibara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. I forgot she has that outfit. It's something. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. I think I mentioned before that they did the Stanley Cup thing at my mom's work, and then they got these hiking the one that gave my mom their dirty Santa thing was like a hiking cup. For some reason, this is actually working really well. Like this is perfect for like small sips in between. John, why is the lurk thing still broken? Thank you regardless, John. Thank you for always being there. I really appreciate you. Seriously, shout out to the lurkers. Look, I know what the viewer count says, but I don't know how much the lurkers count towards these things. I really appreciate if there is anyone there just lurking. Big ups. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. Remember last time what happened? First of all, but I shouldn't forget how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No. Calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me. They were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation at my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using the seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. Wouldn't let them get rid of me so easy. Never. But are they really trying to kill me? I had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all of their suspicious behavior, a warning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my concurrent situation, I don't. Secret yawn attack. Those points were something that should have been deliberated a long time ago. Really? Retta and the rest of them? Were they actually aiming to kill me? That little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Sorry, just adjusting the camera. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maibara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe. Sewing needle might have been just No, I think there are some points where, like... No... I think sometimes that doesn't really... No. You screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi. The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously. But maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. Kind of misunderstanding. It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? And it just corrected me for lying, and you only asked me about what I had for lunch. And I was standing outside my door, eavesdropping for a solid hour. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard it from Oshi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school. But at the hospital, she said it was Yashino-sama's fault. Oh, Meg, how's it going? We are arguing with ourselves. There are two wolves inside me right now.
いい加減にしろよ、前原圭一。お前、命を狙われてるって自覚あるのかよ。
Hey, maybe don't say that out loud. Hmm? I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. You are stupid. The best arguments come from going insane. So true. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else had heard it. This little soliloquy got a little too close to the truth. Glad to see the MC is still so dumb. Look, okay. I think we're half stupid. We're partly stupid, we're part in denial, and we're part going absolutely batshit insane. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. Also, hi to any people spiking in. I'm just gonna put this, you know what? I'll slide in. I'll slide in just because I see some numbers going up. Advanced GG, Maimu 10. Wow, I love you. But I was just your average student. A man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I've been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intend to kill me? Right?
甘えるな、圭一。
Okay, stop saying stuff out loud. You're being stupid. Do we give Maimu all the money? Yes, give money. Also, oh, wait. Oh, money. Money. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Money? Imagine giving money at kofi.com/Maimu. No. No, save your wallets. It's Christmas, man. Don't. No. I see that look in your eyes, dude. Never save Maimu Santa? Oh yeah, it's me, Maimu Claus. Actually, wait a minute, hold on. Pause for a second. I forgot, there's like way too many cool Christmas assets that they could have been using this whole time. Hold on. I should have been doing something. Yeah, there's like an Xmas, yeah, Christmas blanket, Christmas tree. Dude. Yeah, no, what the heck? It's Christmas blankie time. Actually, here, let me do something else. No, not that one. That one. This is the only peek you get. So it makes it a little easier to wear the blanket. Free stuff, free assets, go crazy with it. There is nothing wrong with using some free assets. Here, actually. Oh, wait, I might unlock it. Here. I'm being picky. Okay. There we go. And then I want eggnog. Ooh, actually, let me do this. Do this. We're playing. Oh, item settings. I'm gonna do that. Okay, hold on. Might have to fix this a little. Try that one more time. Nope, that's the wrong one. We're playing dress up. Sorry, we're just straight up playing dress up right now. Oh, well, I guess I... Oh, there's a fine-tune thing. No, I may be stupid. Whatever. Oh, that doesn't do it. Global? No, you know what? Whatever. What the hell? I was gonna have it so that it appears under the blanket, but you know what? Nah. We're straight up nogging it. We're nogging our eggs right now. I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear. Oh my gosh! We're smart now! There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. No shit. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I think he's becoming self-aware. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me? I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class, dear lord. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I probably would have happily jumped into that circle. Oof. The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt. Buddy, I think they're gonna hold this over your head. If you don't, you're kinda stuck here. Seeing Rena's expression, she says she really was looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi. Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me? Slap. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Is Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Here, I am covering myself up with a blanket right now. Nope. Oh, what got stuck on that now? Oh, I don't care. I'm cold as shit. And I can play this game with just a handout, and I am cold. Gah. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did they ever become this naive? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena.
Yeah, いい。ごめん。一人で帰れる。
I'm scared about how this is going to turn out.
部活はみんなでやってくれよ。
Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily.
ケイちゃんがリベンジ熱望してたってんで、今日はせっかくこの間の推理ゲームにしたってのにな。ケイチさんにはリターンマッチに臨む熱いハートはありませんですの？情けないですわね。
I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head.
ケイチ、具合悪そうです。かわいそうですよ。
It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It was so nice, which made things even harder.
ごめんな。みんな。じゃあ。
All I said is I quickly left the classroom. Oh, I see we're bolted. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Harder than heart. Keiji Maebara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. Were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because my friends? Part of me lamented my naivete, while another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. My personality was being ripped in two, along with my body. If this is what Ayashiro-sama's curse was like, it was just too harsh. Hey, Ayashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse, but I believed in it now. Completely. Curse does exist. So, seriously, give me a break. I beg you. Come on. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Ugh. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got to his work, he ate, slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he had just reached a good point to take a break, or was in a slump.
とにかく作家のモチベーションってものを理解してないんだよ彼は。
モチベーション。
タイアップの話だって口約束なんでしょ。そんなに反りが合わないならきっぱりお断りしたい。
Get a sneeze moo. Heights. Everyone bless me.
助け合いの世界だからお互い様だとは思うんだけど。
Bless you. Oh, thank you. Yay. Totally unexpected. I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation, but you've been blessed by sneeze moo. Sneeze moo? Got a moo? We got moo here? Whew. My sinuses are free. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends, but I no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted. People I could depend on when push came to shove. There was something I just didn't have. And just one ally would be incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But I told them everything that happened up until now. They understand. Rena, for example. That neighborly Rena who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day, and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain she wanted to kill me? I must disappear to make sprite animation. Yo, animation's awesome. We love animation. Animation's cool. Shout out to animation. I love art. No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand. My high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things. Be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in past incidents were often married couples. I didn't even joke about it. For the entire Maimeite family to have an accident or just vanish into thin air like that. Ooh. It was easily possible in Hinamizawa. I can't talk anymore. I lost it. There we go. The warm-ups did, like, okay. Yeah, they're probably like an hour. Okay, that's cool. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. Which means that this house would be a safe haven as long as my parents were in. I knew these were all assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. Only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No. I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Oshi-san. Him, and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oshi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. How to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Eating. It was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oshi-san would pull out the big haul. I had to step out for about 30 minutes. What's going on right now? Surprisingly not that much. Rena was a little intimidating about the mochi, but other than that, we just kind of went to school, and then we skipped club time, which I feel like may have consequences, but other than that, we're doing alright. Everything has been happening. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you about the giant plane crash that happened and the monster fight that came out of it. I'm so sorry. You missed Santa. True. I'm sorry. You missed the evil skeleton that walked by for like a second. It was slightly infuriating. Missed the blessing. Dude, is it that much of a blessing? It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. I can't believe I missed Keiichi hitting that no-scope letter stall 360 trick shot. I think I missed that part of the gameplay. But it wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oshi-san. No question. It was going to be hard. Timing to bring Oshi-san in would be difficult. It was in the city, not Himanabi's. You know, that town, you know. You know, the main location of the game. We all know that one, yeah. So if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something. I just have to hide out there until Oshi-san arrived.
少し見えてきたぞ。
I don't think so. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen. But now I do wish we would go. Oh my god, please make it stop. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah. Probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically that would call for a switchblade. But that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remembered there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance? It could be something like a note or a memo. Write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanish, the journal would be left behind. My journal in his possession. Oshi-san should still be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook, made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. That's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would just seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose to not write anything else at this point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. Folded the paper, thought about a place to hide it. Hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was in too obscure of a location, then there was the risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Yeah. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. I feel like somehow this is still gonna backfire. Now I needed to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs. Jump scare. Okay. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in.
話中ごめん。ちょっと聞いてもらっていいかな。
I never started off a conversation like that before. But my parents were both startled. Stop talking and turn
どう
towards
した
me.
のケイチ？
お願いがあるんだけど、聞いてほしいんだ。もしもだよ。
圭一、急ぎの話じゃなきゃ後にしなさい。お父さんとお母さんはちょっと今、急ぎの話を
Mommy
し
and
てる。
Danny are talking about something urgent. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my
もしもだ
request.
よ。俺が死んだらさ、
Both of my parents' eyes went wide as saucers. No, if you started something like that, no shit.
死んだらさ、俺の部屋にある時計、あれを棺に入れてほしいんだ。
How old is he again? I want you to imagine you're in middle school and stuff. And you... No. I want you to imagine that you are a parent. You're, let's say like 12. Let's make it like an even... Or maybe he's high school. I don't know. Let's say like 13. Let's round it out as a good 13. And your kid says, if I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. I think you would shit your pants. If they did that, then they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame
あ
them.
の時計、工作の授業で作ったお気に入りなんだ。頼むよ。
どうしたのケイチ？何かあったの？
Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response for when someone suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry. But right now, I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward move, leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up in my room.
明日は早くに学校に行きたいから、もう寝るよ。
Well, great. Now your parents think that you're gonna kill yourself.
おやすみ。
Saying only that I left the living room. Well, I'm sorry. You just ruined everything. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. I climbed the stairs. I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight had begun. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. Man, we are... Shoot. New tips unlocked! Yay! More tips! Pursue the truth behind the crimes. Here, you know what? I'll look at the new one. Let me see what's going on. I'm not feeling so hot.
最近ケイチくんの元気がないね。機嫌が悪いのかな。
Wait, is that actually their perspective?
さーて、どうしたんだろうね。恋の病にでもかかってるんじゃないの？
That was not what I expected. Oh, you period.
みーちゃん、それ飛躍しすぎ。どう思う？
さあね。ケイちゃんひょっとしてかな？
わかんない。
Oh boy.
あの日、ケイちゃんと車で話してたの。中年のでっぷりした男だったんでしょ？
うん、間違いない。
大石のやつ、ケイちゃんに何を吹き込んでるのかな？
真剣そうだったよ。ケイチくんは顔面蒼白だった。
あのね、レナはよく知らないだろうけど、実はあいつ、お社様の使いなんだよ。
What?
何の話？
あいつが現れるとね、 必ず鬼隠しが起こるの。本当だよ。
Okay, that's an interesting way to put it.
おととし、リカちゃんのお母さんが受水したでしょ。その直前に大石が尋問してたんだよ。
そういえばサトシくんが転校する前にもいたね。
転校レナはいいやつだよな。
で、今度はケイチくんの前に現れたんだ。じゃあケイチくんも鬼隠しになっちゃう？
Oh no. Empty silence hung in the air. And then it was suddenly interrupted. By loud laughter. Oh. Okay, who's scared? One more chapter. Gonna save that. Who else is scared? Who else is scared? Me. This was the first time I'd ever woken up with such clarity. I have seen the light. It's 5:59, just moments before my alarm would go off. I was amazed at the precision of my internal clock. I had made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. I changed quickly and descended to the deserted lower floor. It appeared that my mom was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. Yesterday, I just unilaterally declared that I would be leaving early today, so it couldn't be helped. Slathered jam on some bread and topped it with instant cocoa? Just as I was finishing up breakfast, Mom rose groggily from herself. Is he cooking? Like, I know he's making food, but is he cooking with that? Yeah, I have both. Maybe worth a shot.
今日は早いのね。学校の行事か何か？
別に。
Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood after stuffing 2 slices of bread down my throat.
もう行くの？お弁当は？もうちょっと待ってくれないとできないわよ。
If I waited for her to make my lunch, it would end up being the same time as usual. If I did that, it would raise the chances of running into Rena and Mion on the way. Yes. From today onwards, I was going to school alone. You are making a horrible choice.
今日はいいよ。
じゃあお昼はどうするの？
抜け出して商店で菓子パンでも買うよ。
そう。じゃあこれ、お昼代ね。ちゃんとレシート持ってくるのよ。
I took the 1,000 yen bill from Mom and slipped it in my
こ
pocket.
んなに早いけど、レナちゃんたちもこんなに早い
Ah, I
の？
remember when the yen wasn't as inflated as it is now.
いや、俺だけ。
レナちゃんには早く出るって伝えてあるの？
I have no reason to tell her every little detail now, do I? Finding it difficult answering the onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed
レ
face.
ナが来たら、ケイチは先に行ったって伝えてよ。
ちょっとケイチ、待ちなさい。
It's not that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them. It didn't help me. I could only hope that they didn't get involved. It was safer that way. My mom's annoying voice was cut out by the slam of the door. Rude. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to school alone. Up until now, I had always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I always met with the same people at the same places. But today was different. I didn't meet the people I would normally, and nobody was at the places where they would have normally met them. Of course, Retta wasn't in the spot where we usually met, and there wasn't anyone at the spot where we would have met up with Mion. The length of the trees' shadows, the morning air, the brightness of the sun. It was a completely different type of morning than what I was. Yeah, different morning. Without a doubt, I felt strange. And it left me with the impression that I had destroyed the illusion Hinamizawa had set up for me before it had enough time to prepare all of the props needed to deceive me. Rah.
あら、ケイチくん。今朝は早いわね。みんなで早朝から待ち合わせ？
The person who called out to me was someone we always passed by as they were taking a walk along the edge of the fields. Their name was... I forgot. Of course this wasn't the spot where we usually passed each other.
今朝は早くに目が覚めちゃったので気分転換なんです。あまり気にしないでください。
I threw out a random excuse.
レナちゃんやミオンちゃんはどうしたんだい？今日は一人なの？
ええ、まあ。
I was being asked the same type of questions my mom was asking, so I answered them in the same uninteresting, vague manner. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed by someone. But maybe it was to be expected. It was because for so long, we were always together so amicably. Even I felt that if I let my guard down, we'd still be friends. Stop it, Keiichi. Think about that. Don't think about that anymore. Spent all day yesterday thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you? A car horn. Oh, frick. I know what this is. Even though I was walking lost in thought, the horn was... A mechanical behemoth barreled at me from behind, catching me completely. Just rip the band-aid off. By the time I turned around, the van's hulking chassis was almost on top of me. Van? I'd seen plenty of cars veered to the opposite shoulder to avoid pedestrians. This car was doing the opposite. I felt like there was somebody on the opposite shoulder and the van was swerving in my direction to avoid it. Was that not Oshi? Blissfully ignorant train of thought delayed me from realizing something much, much more important. That large mass was hurtling right at... Wait, is that not Oishi? Was it going to hit me? The inside of my head instantly flooded with a painfully cold liquid. Wait, are we... What? What's going on? In that moment, the scene before me... No, time itself... frozen. In the silence of that frozen moment, I compared the van, so close that I had no way to dodge it. My body, the upper half twisted awkwardly in order to look behind me. There was no way I could dive out of the way in my current position. If I lost focus now, this moment when I'm paused, I would be probably be plowed over, caught in this silly Are we actually getting run over? Bend my upper body over towards the paddy by the side of the road. If I bent far enough, I'd get away with just being hit by the side view mirror. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, the temporal stasis was shattered by the deafening sound of the van. The side mirror struck my shoulder, sending me spinning off through the air like a top, locked in my contorted position. This is what happens when you leave early. You get caught in the traffic, and then everyone sucks at driving, and this is what happens. Kasplash. Sent tumbling through the air, I crashed into the muddy paddy by the side of the road. Well, great, now you're covered in mud and you're sad. My entire body was soiled and drenched. Yep, never be early. See, this is what happens. The choice I had made in that instant was unmistakably for the best. I was covered in mud, but when the alternative was being hit by the car, it was the closest I could be to being unscathed. Rising out from the paddy, I had enough in me to glare over at the stopped van and yell profanities at the driver. I'm not sure if he was able to see me, but the van sped off suddenly.
待てよクソこれってひき逃げって言うんじゃねえのかよ
Oh my gosh. I couldn't help but continue yelling out profanities. The disgrace from being covered in mud hurt me more than any physical wounds. I slogged through the muddy paddy and made my way back onto the road. Are you still going to school covered in mud? Shit! I'll track you down and sue you! If I go looking for a van, I'm sure to find it in this little village. The path I was on had rice paddies on either side, and it had become so narrow that one car could barely fit through. It wasn't a place you could tear full speed down in a car, let alone pass by possession. I seriously thought that was Oishi-san honking behind. Not only was it a narrow road, but the car just now was closer to my side of the road than the other when it went past me. Even as I cursed, I was desperately trying to suppress the dark cloud roiling up within me. This wasn't just a hit and run. That car just now was trying to run me over, wasn't it? Yeah, I think. Thinking back, it did feel like there had been a car creeping up on me slowly for a while. Yeah, there's the casual feeling of a car. That's right. As soon as I parted ways with that person taking a walk, I had that feeling the whole time. Wait! Ayo! It had wanted to pass me, that it had no shortage of chances. Normally, I would have felt suspicious and turned around sooner, but I was lost in thought. And I was kicking myself for not realizing it was there sooner. And then the path became narrow and there was no one else in sight. He floored it. Dude, I think... Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Hold on, I'm thinking like villager. Good morning, Keiichi. How's it going, young man? Get the van. Run his ass over. He knows too much. Plow him down. I wonder if he was watching Madagascar or something. If I had hesitated for even a moment, the result would be no laughing matter. Just made him want to merge without looking, okay? As the adrenaline rush from nearly being run over subsided, and the realization of just how terrifying the preceding events were sunk in. There was no doubt about it. That van was intentionally trying to hit me. A cold, vicious sweat seeped from my scalp, slid down my back before dribbling off. I struggled to avoid falling into panic. There was still the possibility that this was really just an accident. Calm down, Keiichi. But also, don't be so naive, Keiichi. Being that lax will get you killed next time. You need to always be on your toes. Don't give them any openings. If my enemy was really out to kill me, the next time they would use a more reliable method. If that time came and I was acting like I was now, getting covered in mud was the price I'd paid for my own naivete. Covered in mud, but without injury. Not even a sprain. I guess this is what you would call the silver lining. I began walking again, this time cautiously. I wouldn't even show a hint of carelessness. I had suspected only Rena and the others up until now. Yeah, I think everybody's after you, buddy. No. It was because I had suspected them that I had believed there were no other enemies. Oishi-san had said so, didn't he? There was the possibility of a village conspiracy. Was I really mired so deeply in this situation that I had no choice but to try and carry on as usual? Wouldn't it be safest to just hole myself up in my house? But the moment I abandoned my regular routine, everyone around me would abandon theirs as well. It was just too horrifying of a thought. I recalled the tales Oishi-san told me of when Hinamizawa was still called Onigafuji. A frightening tale of an entire village of demons hunting down their prey, surrounding them, eating them alive. One must not interfere with demons. One must pretend not to see it. The enemies were numerous. The whole village. The villagers, their unwavering faith in the curse, would do nothing to help me. Strong, sudden flash of sunshine made me slightly dizzy. I had no idea what was going on anymore. And I suspected that it was the work of a man. I would catch a glimpse of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Hello, Miami. How's it going? We got run over. We almost got into a hit and run. That was great. And when I suspected it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, someone would poke their head out. Was it coincidence? Was it intentional? Who was my enemy? Who was just a bystander? No. What I really, truly wanted to know was, how did I end up with the proverbial bullseye painted on my back? Eventually, an answer in a form I could understand would appear. I don't care when that will happen, because until then, I cannot die. That alone fueled my resolve to fight and will keep me alive. Fire drip. I love eggnog. My drip is eggnog. Wait, how do we peak to 7? We just peaked to 7. What's going on? 7? Hi, people. I'm Maimu. Like and sub. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say. We're at 671. 67. It's the funny number. I remembered seeing the metal bat in the gym storage shed, but there was a padlock on the door barring my entry. At the very least, I wanted to get my hands on it before everything else arrived at school. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. Why must you do this to us? Well, because I have 671 of you. I have 671. Does that make it 67 and 61? I'm gonna unsub now so it goes away from 67. No, 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 no. I have to have 3 people rebelling to do that. You can't escape. You can't do it. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. But all I could find were things like pieces of lumber. Nothing that I could bring into the class easily. Then, I had an epiphany. I should search inside the classroom. If it was something in the classroom to begin with, then there wouldn't be a problem. I could tell that everyone's indoor shoes were still in their lockers. Good thing I came early. Nobody else was here. Surprisingly, I made 671 alternative accounts. Everyone sub so that we can ruin his parade. I have low service, so I won't be here for long. Just wanted to say hello. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, Astro. I hope that you have a good night, too. I hope things are going good, and I hope you get some good rest. I don't care if it's morning or evening. You better get that good rest. Please. I wondered, what could I find in the classroom? I didn't think I could find an especially effective weapon like a bat, but it couldn't be helped at this point. Until the gym storage shed was open, I needed to find a substitute. A lingering hint of naivete whispered that there was no way I'd be attacked at school, but such soft ideas would no longer protect me. To think they were slowly making their way into parts of my life that I had once thought impenetrable. In the worst case, my own house might not be safe anymore. That was an incredibly frightening thought. I think honestly the fact that Ren is pretty much the friend and can visit like anytime, ever, I think that might be affecting things a little bit. But I believe that not considering the worst case scenario would have been even more frightening. Anyways, I will survive. As long as I lived, and I will definitely be able to escape this labyrinth of nonsense. Definitely. My exploration of the classroom came to an impasse. That much was to be expected. There was no way there would be anything I could be a weapon in the classroom. In case of emergency, there was probably nothing I could do but swing my own chair around. My gaze landed on the lockers that had come to be used for personal storage. The locker that Mion used to store her pile of games was among them. There was only one for each person in the class, all lined up. Of course, there was one for me as well. Oh yeah, there was supposed to still be a tracksuit in my locker. Seeing me covered in mud would be strange. Very much so. Hi, Luna, my little streamy buddy. I love you. I should go change later. But first I need a weapon. If one of my classmates came, it'd be hard to rummage through all the lockers. I swiftly began opening the lockers, one by one. What is the point of, like... Okay, what's the point of doing that? I don't get it. They were mostly just filled with things like gym clothes, personal items, and umbrellas. An umbrella? If I couldn't find anything better, then this would have to be my weapon. I was about to give up on finding anything decent when I opened a locker that held exactly what I wanted. It was, without a doubt, a metal bat. Okay, my camera. What's up with my camera? What the heck? Okay, well... Metal bat! Which means somebody already had it in their locker. It was well worn and pretty beaten up, but there was no doubt it was usable. Why is there a metal bat in the classroom and not the storage room? That locker, that reeked of mold. Ugh. Ooh. There was also hung a baseball uniform. It was probably the locker of a student at a Pee-wee League or something like that. Whew. If that was the case, then he'd probably ask for it back. At that time, I could hear the voices of the children scuffling their way noisily from the hallway. Amongst them, I could make out Rika-chan and Satoko.
おはようございますです。あらあらあら、今朝はお早いですわね、ケイチさん。
I nonchalantly hit the bat I was holding behind my back.
なんなんですの、その身なりは。泥だらけでしたよ。
ああ、まあちょっとあってな。すぐ着替えるから勘弁しろ。
That said, I began taking off my clothes. Satoko began blush. As just as I expect her to, you could have gone into a different room to do that, you weirdo. That's what I'm saying. You can't just know your way out of that when you're the one doing it. Satoko feigned disgust. She went into the hall, still blushing. Conversely, Rika-chan continued to stare at me, preparing to change. Good for you! Good for you, Rika. She deliberately pouted and looked at me with upturned eyes. Rika-chan, appearing to be satisfied with being considered a lady, made her way to join Satoko in the hallway. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, Rika-chan stopped suddenly and turned back towards me. Seems that Rika-chan had noticed the bat. Look at that! Thank you, supportive girl. She was talking like an old lady despite her appearance. After saying that, Mika-chan started to leave again, but stopped and looked back at me once more. Please, for the love of God, don't do this.
なくさないでくださいねです。
That's okay, harmless but odd. Seems she already knew that I took that out of someone's locker. There was no name on the locker door. I didn't know whose bat it was, but I would be borrowing it until they complained. Wouldn't be for long, just until the gym storage shed was open. After quickly changing into the tracksuit, I checked the time. I still had plenty of time before class began because I came so early. I took the bat in one hand and went out to the schoolyard. That was, of course, to practice my swing. I needed to make it known I would always have a bat on me so I could practice my swing. At some point, the sunlight had become even stronger. Disregarding my classmates as they made their way to school, I took my position in the shadows of the school building. I wasn't the academic type, and I wasn't much of an athlete either. I might get muscle pain if I just suddenly started swinging. I should at least start out with some warm-ups. I doubt anyone would think I was doing something out of the ordinary. Which was the exact opposite of my actual mental state. I gripped the bat and swung lightly. The bat was by no means light. The weight would make it a reliable weapon when I needed it to be. Worse, I could only pray that the moment I needed to use this as a weapon would never come. Just carrying it around could deter attacks against me. At least, that's what I hoped.
あれケイちゃんあんた何やってんの
Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped.
ケイチくん、野球部だよ。野球部だよ。
It was Ren and
先
Mion.
に行ったって言われて驚いたけど、ケイちゃん、あんた何やってるわけ？
見てわからないかよ。素振りだよ。甲子園だよ。別にダイエットでもいいぞ。
ダイエットってケイちゃん、そんなに太ってたっけ？
ああ、知らなかったろ。実は三段腹なんだ。もちもちでタプタプなんだぞ。
I'm trying to frown as best I can. I can't. Why? Don't describe your belly.
もちもちです。タプタ
Stop. No, 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 no. I don't want to dwell on that.
レナ、変な想像しなくていいぞ。
You're the one that... To disrupt Ren from imagining something that vulgar. I ruffled her hair messily. Oh my god, I don't want to think about that.
じゃあまあ、頑張って県大会を目指してちょうだいよ。おじさん応援してるわ。野球部の強い高校、教えよっか。そこにいる左腕の亀田くんが、すごいピッチャーなんだけどさ。
Yeah, well, you
頑
said.
張ってね。
Seems they've already taken me for a baseball nut, but oh well. Well, if I really did make it to the championship, it'd be a cinch. After all, I'd be the pitcher and the catcher. Pitch the ball, then run past that ball I just threw and change over to being the catcher in a burst of super incredible explosive speed. I also have laser eyes and I'm immortal. I laughed dryly at the ludicrous image. Coming back to my senses, I smashed the bat against the ground.
何笑ってんだよ、俺。
Okay, buddy. The bats. Okay. I pounded the ground over and over. With each impact, the reverberation traveling through the bat stung my hands. They smile at me like that. I'll don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone. No matter how many times I tell myself that. They made me smile like that. I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends. Smiling friends. Smiling friends. But I just couldn't believe it. That kind of split personality really exists? Like how Rennick invested a doctor? Were they simply being possessed by Oyashido-sama? In other words, did a supernatural being like Oyashido-sama really exist? Was it possessing everyone to try and kill me? Yeah. That'd be wonderful. If only everyone were actually my friends all along. Everything was all just Yashiro-sama's fault. I yelled out, drawing out all the power from the pit of my stomach, and raised the bat violently in the air. Actually, I just realized, wouldn't other people be hearing him from inside? Like, I'm sure those school walls are like paper thin right now. Oh, come on. I screamed out with all my might. I beat the metal back into the ground over and over. Every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. Smash. Forget. Don't be soft. Know your enemy. Like hell I'd let them kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my ragged breathing. I heard the first bell ring just as I calmed down. I gasped with a sudden realization. That was the final bell. As I felt all the tension drained from me, I let out a deep breath. My mind was in a muddled state for much of the entire day. I didn't feel like I was awake, but I didn't feel like I was asleep either. I couldn't say it felt especially comfortable, but I felt a kind of relief that the sanctity of the school part of my daily life had yet to be violated. How long would I have to keep on living like this? I can only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me. Here, I think after this segment, I'll go ahead and end stream just so I can get a little bit eepy-eep. Man. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn, but I love it. The sound of Retta's voice brought me back to my senses. Everyone was moving their desks together as usual. EBCB. That's right. It was happy fun club time. Yee! But I had no intention of taking part. I think you're making a big mistake, buddy. I haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk in my bag as I prepared to go home. It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid having to actually say, I'll be going home now. Yon sounded quite disappointed. The tone of the words that spilled from my mouth matched Mion's disapproving glare. It felt like the air in the room had dried out. Satoko looked as if she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood. She swallowed her words and stayed silent. Nobody said a thing. I took that to mean I could leave if I wanted. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like the tiny pins used to mount an insect in a display, held me in place. I was the one who cut through the heavy mood. Said in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing through my heart. This pain was going to kill me. I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. I tore at my chest, violently tearing out the pins that held me in place. I would be hurting myself by saying anything more. So I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, turned away and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. I firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Ugh. Realizing that, I wiped it down with my sleeve. Okay, thank you. If something were to happen, I wouldn't want it to be slippery. This morning, I'd become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Even while walking, my ears pricked up, sought out threatening sounds and presences that could be closing in. That was why I could hear it. Without a doubt. Footsteps. Those footsteps matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. From what I could sense, just one person. But I had no intention of being careless. Did they intend to follow me like that car this morning until we reach a good location to assault me? It wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. The wooded path, crowded with trees, responded with silence as if there was nobody there to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. Certain footsteps were following me. Just as I stopped, footsteps stopped as well. Meaning the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was without question proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. The trees rustled with the sound of the wind. The Higurashi also joined in the dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. 5 minutes passed. And I'd been like this for a whole 30 minutes. It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, I was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. Then, I'd make the first move. I fixed my grip on the bat. I raised it up to my shoulder to be ready to swing it at any time. With all of my might, I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees, but the presence in the shade didn't budge. Well, the moment I found them, they had no intention of revealing themselves. I screamed out angrily at them again, but even still, they didn't move at all. And I'll go over there myself. With all due vigilance, I approached step by step. Stepping into the tree's shadow, I saw a human figure there. That figure was curled up like a small animal.
Lena.
She realized I'd found her. Her expression softened. Okay, we're being stalked. She seemed apologetic, but wasn't going to speak a word. I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed that question at her. Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. But it was obvious that she had been following me. A little scared, thinking about how I'd been acting up until now. It wasn't hard to imagine that my behavior could have been perceived as strange. So Rena was concerned. At a quick glance, that's how it would seem. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily. Even if that was really the case, she still wouldn't have to do something like try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone out right with me. Rena didn't do that. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deviously tried to hide her presence from me. Gosh, it's so cold in here. I'm gonna lose my mind. Then after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her, but without a doubt. She was tailing me. Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. Maybe he is... Yeah, his brain is... After I'd walked for a bit, she ignored my command to begin walking again. Oh no. So I yelled at her once more.
ついてくるなって言ってるだろ。
だってレナの家も同じ方向だし。
じゃあレナが先を歩けよ。レナが見えなくなったら俺も歩く。
I moved out of the way and waved my bat violently to urge her forward. Oh dear lord.
レナはケイチ君と一緒に帰りたいな。
Making a pitiful expression, she meekly squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. That agitated me to no end. I knew it was a lie. If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies. Seeing that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without me saying anything, Rena had understood what I was feeling inside. Don't be a simp.
分かったならほら行けよ。
Oh! I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat and started walking hesitantly, then stopped again.
早く行けよ早く。
行くからそのバットやめてよ。
I'm just a little bit nervous about the consequences here. I feel like this is going to be bad.
怖いの。
Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. She may have realized that I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. I lowered the bat, still guardedly opened the way for her. The more people that leave him alone, the better. Dude, for real. But, like, after this, nah.
行けよ。
Hooey. Sorry, I ate some popcorn before, and I swallowed a kernel. Dear
俺
Lord.
なら文句ないだろ。
There was nothing else she could protest. Passed by me timidly so as not to set me off. I watched her pass by. She stopped completely after having barely moved at all.
おい立ち止まるなよ。
Then a powerful gust blew past us, dodging my face with... The dust got... Pocket sand? I'm sorry. While rubbing my eyes with my left hand, I swung blindly with the bat on my right, protecting the small opening I had presented. Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Attack me? No. She hadn't budged it. Did she throw pocket sand? I could tell from the sound of her fluttering skirt in the wind. Her skirt settled. So did the silence. At that moment, the voice inside me immediately warned me of impending danger. I was caught by surprise. The smell of the air had changed without me realizing it. The air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It was like the air had suddenly become an invisible concrete, like Rena and I were locked in this space. Rena didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her back. Rena was the first to break the silence. Instantly, she altered her stance. I felt like I had just witnessed her shift from Rena into that one person who looks like Rena. Oh boy. But the voice was one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice.
ごめんね。聞いてもいい？
Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately. She trembled.
なんだよ。
あのね、 トなんか持ってるのかな
The question Ren asked was by no means unexpected.
俺が何を持ってたっていいだろ。
でも昨日まで持ってなかったし、どうして突然。
別に突然でもいいだろ。俺がバットを持
I'm
ってる
very
おかしいかよ
scared right now.
だって圭一くん野球とかしない人だったでしょ。おかしいよ。
I couldn't tell what type of answer she was looking for. I was getting tired of answering her.
突然野球がしたくなったんだよ。それじゃおかしいか。
おかしいよ。
She answered instantly, and that annoyed me slightly. Dude, everything's annoying you.
突然野球がしたくなった。素振りがしたくなったからバットを持ち歩いてる。
Okay, here's the thing. He is on the self-defense. He is distancing himself. He is not being calm by any means. You need to take some deep breaths, buddy. I know you're like 13 or 14 or something, but
それのどこが変なんだよ。
変。おかしい。絶対。なんで圭一くんまで。
ぶつくさとうるせえやつだな。俺がスポーツに目覚めるのがそんなに変かよ。
Dumbledore said calmly. Tried to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Until my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions.
ごめんね、ごめんね。
He would rather throw spaghetti against the walls. He literally threw food against a wall.
そんなに怒らないで。
Rena still didn't turn around and spat out words of apology one after the next.
最後に一個だけ教えて。
これ以上話す気も教える気もねえよ。早く行けよ。
I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she had been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. Even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked one final question.
なんでバットまで同じなの？
The same? What did she mean by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about.
お前何言ってんだ。
だからなんでバットまで同じなのかなって。
何を言ってんだか
The
全
same?
然わかんねえよ。もっとはっきり言え。
Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed.
だからどうしてバットまでサトシくんと同じなの？
I had an inkling, a slight inkling, in my head. In my head.
サトシってえ？
On hearing that name out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. Wait, Satoshi? Did she mean a student who transferred out last year? No, that couldn't be. I had tried to cover it up by saying he transferred. But Oishi-san told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat until last year. He is believed to have been demoned away by Yoshida-sama's curse. I didn't know the... Oh my gosh. Ugh. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of the WATAN ON MY GASHI by a drug addict. Not long after, he was suddenly vanished. Was now missing. Satoshi and I were... What? Gaze fell to the bat in my hands. Could it be? Yeah, I think that was Satoshi's bat. Satoshi Hojo. It was engraved! It was a bit difficult to see. But that was what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat. See, so this was Satoshi's bat.
ああ、これサトシのバットだったんだな。誰も使ってなかったんでちょっと借りたんだよ。 いいだろそれくらい。
そんなことじゃないの。
The way Rena said that, it seemed like the bat was something that should never be touched. Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine, or a memento of the deceased. I could only stand there, perplexed and unable to respond. Rena continued speaking without waiting for a reply.
サトシ君の時とどうしてそんなにまで同じなの？
What? Rena was talking about more than just the bat belonging to Satoshi. Dude, oh my god. Yo.
サトシ君もそうだった。野球チームには入ってたけど、本当は野球なんか好きじゃない人だったの
Oh
に。
my gosh, oh my gosh.
それが俺とどう関係が。
サトシ君もある日突然バットを持ち歩き始めたの。チームに入ってただけでスポーツなんかしない人だったのに。
She saw Satoshi go insane too. Dude! What about it? Dude! This... I can't tell if this is her legitimately letting her guard down, or if that means it's like, that's crazy. This is good. This is such a good game. This is such a good novel. This is so good. Close my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Rena's trying to tell us something important.
サトシ君もね、ある日突然一人で登校するようになったの。ケイチ君みたいに。
Dude!
そしてね、ある日突然素振りの練習を始めたの。ケイチ君みたいに。そしてね、ある日突然バットを持ち歩くようになったの。ケイチ君みたいに。そしてね、ある日突然。
And one day he suddenly... What? Rena had swallowed her words. Rena's sudden silence brought a husk back to the surrounding area. It was then that I could finally digest the content of the entire conversation. It was saying my chain of actions was exactly the same as Satoshi's. What was the meaning of this? Up until just now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. I never paid much thought to him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't know anything that he'd done. My actions today should have been my own creation, after all the planning I had done. But they had been the exact same as Satoshi's. And Satoshi, oh, more importantly, both Satoshi and I acted the same. Then there was a really good possibility that what happened after would be the same.
レナ、ある日突然サトシはどうしたんだよ。
Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. Forget about what happened to the guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen to me.
答えろよレナ。サトシはどうしたんだよ。
That. I grabbed Rena's shoulder violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. I faced her. Felt a jolt travel through my entire body.
言ったよね、ケイチ君。
It's that person that I didn't know. Dude, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is this? At least, it definitely wasn't the Ren of Ryukyu I'd been talking to up until now. The voice just now didn't have a trace of the trembling or emotion that it had before. The amount of regret I felt for turning her around so carelessly was unsurpassed. Dude, is this like a possession thing? I'm wondering. Like, I'm legitimately wondering if this is like a Yashido-sama thing. What? Gaze that pierced like a cold needle. The smile on her face that invoked the image of having been carved out by a knife. Chills went down my spine. My mind froze under a layer of rime. Both of Rena's eyes pierced through mine, leaving me unable to look away. As if to remind me of the fear from that time before. Rena brought her face close to mine. so close that I could feel her breath. Face had filled my entire field of vision. Lettuce Gremlin, dear God, you came by at a wonderful time. Oh dear Lord, we fucked up. Then, her sharply shaped lips were even sharper, like the curve of a crescent moon. She grinned.
言ったよね、圭一くん。
After a short pause, Brenda repeated the same words again.
サトシくんはね、転校しちゃったの。
Transferred. Meaning what? What Brenna meant must have been some new definition of transfer that I was previously not aware of. My throat and lips dried up. I couldn't even acknowledge what I had just heard. All I could do was swallow down my own saliva. Seeing that Rena saw that as a nod. She pulled her gaze back and spryly stepped back 2, 3 paces. She did. My legs gave out and I fell to my knees pathetically. Rena, and me on my knees underneath her motionless smile. Had to be a very odd sight indeed. Seeing me in that pathetic state, she never scoffed at me nor held out her hand. But I could neither stand nor escape with her gaze shooting through my eyes. There was undoubtedly a metal bat in my hand. But right now, it was useless to me. It was like a fly caught in her web. Heavy sweat beaded all over my body. I could feel it dripping from my skin.
しないよね、圭一くんは。
Hi, welcome in. Nice to meet you. First time viewer here. VTuber from Japan. Ah! Konbanwa. Hajimemashite. 声だよ。僕の日本語はいいじゃない。僕は Boy. Use a translation device, but I want to become friends with VTubers. It's very nice to meet you, Ichika. It's very nice to meet you. I'm sorry, we got in a very, very dramatic point in the game. Oh dear Lord. Rena finally released me from that cage of time after what felt like an eternity. But her question was missing something important and was incredibly vague. So again, I swallowed hard, urging her on.
何をだよ。
What did she not want me to do?
転校。
I'm reluctantly using a sub account as part. No, honestly, I can understand. The algorithm has been bricked up lately. It has been something. Pinch hitter, take up another's bat. Here. I'm gonna save here temporarily. And then, I think this is like... Oh, hold on. It's not locked. No, it's still... whatever. The moving haunted eggnog. Oh my god, the eggnog's on my boobs. Rest time? I think it is rest time for right now. For some reason, that did not lock onto my body. Don't know. There we go. I think I'm not sure how to feel. Party foul, you spilled the eggnog. Dude. Okay. Ugh, I'm just gonna scratch in my head and... I think this is the first time at the end of one of these streams that a game has genuinely, like, stun-locked me. But, like, in a good way. Like, I've never been left on such a cliffhanger before. I am stun-locked. Trying to just figure out what the heck is going on here. Like, we're analyzing here, okay? Let's see, we're doing that cup holder thing. No! Can that spilled egg still be saved? I mean, technically, this is all egg in this cup. It's all egg. I'm gonna need to watch the VOD, it seems. Here's the thing. Rena before, that was like, that was the culmination of everything. Did she lash out of anger or out of sadness? Nuh-uh, you clearly have a cinnamon stick in that cup. How do you know that's not egg? Thanks for the stream, thank you. I think we'll just take a couple minutes to analyze. I can't tell if that was anger or sadness. I wonder, like... Maybe it's a little bit not as much in the mindset of like, oh, this person, outsider must die. Maybe there's not a hatred in that as much. Maybe it's like, oh man, I wish we could have been friends. Wish we could have been there with each other. It's a shame he had to die. As someone who knows where this leads, I was picking up on the little hints and it's pretty good. Yeah, is the one that was speaking truly here? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I genuinely can't tell. I think it's just the fact that the line is blurring so much. I can't tell if it's a narrative thing or a me thing. But the line is blurring so much between how much is everybody else and how much is genuinely just like a big giant curse. Like, how do we even... I guess it just makes me wonder. It's like, at the very least in Rena's case, did she really want Satoshi to transfer? Now that things are happening, I can really see how this popped up despite the potato chibis. That's what I'm telling you. You don't have to make it good. You just have to make it. Because this writing is so strong. And dare I say, like, for early 2000s visual novel standards, I'd say, even though I don't really read visual novels, I guess aside from this right now, there's really good voice acting. I think some of it borders on it's good for what it is, but then some of it's genuinely just, like, really intense and really helps sell the moment. This writing is carrying hard. I know. See, look, this is why I was itching to get back into this. I disagree. It's just good. I don't know. I genuinely can't tell. Unfortunately, I can't tell from a visual novel standard. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like anime stuff. I don't know. Let me tell you something too. I am so happy that I did that 07th mod. Like, it's not just good for its time, it's just plain good. I need to think on this. I'm going to be doing a lot of thinking. God. The visual part is depth the weakness. Here's the thing, though. I've seen people talk about the visuals before, and I've seen people say that they are attached to them just because it adds this, like, unique charm to things. And I can absolutely agree on that front. I'm sorry, it's not anything except me just being, like, thinking. It's def unique, it's very memorable. I kind of want to make a little sprite for myself in that style. I think it'd be very fun. Like, it looks like, honestly, a nice, fun, round art style. I don't know, it's just getting so juicy. The chibis were definitely a bit to get used to at the start. I think especially with characters that don't particularly fit the style, like with Mion and Rena and stuff, like obviously that fits perfectly. But then you get people like Oishi-san who are very clearly not petite anime girls. Brother, what is this? Honestly, I like it. This is why I'm glad I got the 07th mod, because you get the remastered version, and the remastered version, as far as I know, it didn't have the mods. It didn't have like the we're getting schizophrenia move. No. Oh no. We get our. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Are we in our schizo arc? Is it a slur? Did I avoid? This is no. You know what? Let's call it Pepe Sylvia Moo. It's Pepe Sylvia, guys. It's Pepe Sylvia. My schizo arc. Oh, no. I think just taking the silence. We are gonna have to do another episode of this at some point, which kind of leads to the next discussion. Let's do this. So when it comes to streams, I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I probably won't be doing one in the next 3-4-ish days. And I just say that because number one, I have some later work shifts, and it'd be hard to work around that. But I'm looking here. Yeah, I have some later shifts at night, and it'd be a little bit hard to accommodate for. I wonder if I could do. There's a possibility of doing like a Christmas Zatsu or something. It's possible. It wouldn't exactly be like a holiday special kind of thing, but it'd be, I don't know, maybe something. So there might be like at least one stream in the week, but honestly, maybe don't count on it, but I will try to feed you good. I will try to give you guys something, even if it's something small. Gonna eat my one Limbus mention a stream coupon and say that being schizo is practically required. Yes. Ooh, also, guess what? Guess who won the story category? I told you it was, yeah, it was Limbus and the other game. It doesn't matter, but it's Limbus, best story, yay! Like, your average Joe is not gonna go out of their way for these. Dude. Arknights. Yeah, that, whatever that game is. Dude, I have so much to learn about visual novels. Bro, I wish we tied. Dude, I got Higurashi. I want to pick up Muv-Luv, and every time it keeps going on sale, and I keep missing my chance. Actually, it's $11.99 right now. It may be worth picking up Muv-Luv. Just to have. This is the thing. I'm like a hoarder for a good discount. And at the very least, I could, like, have it in there. I at least, like, have it in so that I could, like, play it when I'm ready. And there's so many good visual novels out there that I've been missing out on. And I think the only reason I haven't explored more right now is because I'm hyper-focused on this. I've started, like, 4, and I've finished 0. I didn't know what I was getting into doing this. I am like, this is a 100,000 word visual novel that we are reading right now. and we are suffering through it, and I didn't know how big it was going to be when I read it, but we are sticking by. I don't care if there's like 50 parts to this. There probably will. Give me a sec to see how much the big Muv-Love bundle I got was worth. I saw that right now it's marked down to like 90 something. Like, I see Muv-Love Megaverse bundle, and it has like a shit ton of these games. Or there's like Beginnings bundle. It also has Kimi ga Nozomu Eien. I don't know that is. I was watching someone do a Muv-Love playthrough, and I was so happy and fun until Alternative hit. Dude, the way I know is that Muv-Love is happy. Oh, I bought the Mini World of Muv-Love bundle on Humble for 26. I need to look at Humble. I need to look at Humble bundle. I need to see some good, like, savings there. Because it seems like you're getting some good stuff for some good prices here. But like, don't forget about Fanatical. Fanatical? Where's the... Hold on. Oh, Fanatical. Also the one with the dark blue-haired girl with the simple dress and the meat walls. I need to play that one. Oh, the bundle was last year. It's off the site now. Are the bundles in like drops? Not like drops, but like they'll temporarily add stuff and then they'll like take them off. Limited edition. Limited. That's what it's called. Limited. Oh, there's like a bunch. Oh. There's books. Software. Actually, this is interesting. There's a bundle dropping in... There's a bundle dropping in a couple weeks. It's all games under 5 hours. Pay at least $12 for these 10 items. And they're all... Ooh! They're all well rated, too. Except for Monaco 2. There's lots of great stuff for software on both Humble Bundle and Fanatical. I gotta go hunting. Oh, Saya no Uta. Okay. Okay, but yes. Enough conspiracy posting. I think for now I will go ahead and take my leave for a little bit. I've got stuff in the works. And we are gonna do it. Yeah. But for right now, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being a part of things. And thank you especially for getting hooked into this as much as I am. Thank you for this stream. Thank you. Sometimes Yakuza? No, with no name. Ooh. And of course, make sure you like, if you like what you see, leave a comment for the algorithm. Make sure you sub if you like what you see too, and you want to continue this crazy journey. And of course, it's not a stream end without me plugging my affiliate link. Advanced GG, energy drinks, hydration drinks. They just came out with a hydration plus immunity thing. You got teas. Maimu 10, you can get 10% off your order. Not only that, I get an affiliate bonus commission thing. I'm part of the 6-7 club with an extra 2 at the end. I hate you. Oh yeah, they also have a collab with Gachikuta. I will see you guys soon. Can't say when yet, but soon. Good night. Bye, Moo. Bye-bye.